24. I am your host, Dr. Shontina Gladney, and I have some amazing CEOs that is here to be able to share with you. They are not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk, right? Right in the midst of being able to build up great relationships and being able to let you know as well some information that has allowed them to be looked at as that woman that they know that they can go to, they can trust when it comes to business. Yes, it's not easy, right? But it's definitely worth it when you look at each and every year that you've been able to build up those relationships with those amazing individuals. And usually people say, guess what? Women cannot work together. Yes, I beg to differ. Everybody just has to make sure that they know exactly what their role is at their time. It's not what their place is. Some people say you got to know what your place is. No, you just know what your role is, because at the table, when you look at the mission and you look at the goal of things, right, you do understand that you're going to be able to really contribute so much to one another. And so I'm getting ready to go ahead and make sure that we bring up none other than Carmen Ray. She is out of that Arizona area. I want her to be able to really share with you who it is that she is in the life of women, and how it is that she's able to really show what sisterhood is about, that she lives these things out. So I want to go ahead and turn it over, and Carmen, please let them know all that you do, because this is what it's about. So go ahead, Carmen Ray.
All righty. Thank you so much, Dr. Shontina Gladney, for consistently just creating these platforms for us to be able to reach people beyond our current circles, because that's what this is about. You know, you just never know who you're going to hear, who you're going to see, and that person can spark something in you and it can resonate with you. So it's so important that we just be serious about consistently showing up. No matter what it looks like, it is so important to show up. And so a little bit about me. My name is Carmen Ray. I have been navigating this space of entrepreneurship for over 30 years, And through that, I have felt more and more compelled, more and more drawn to serving women entrepreneurs. I just see something extremely unique about that population, because even though we may have differences, there's so many things we have in common. So I really pride myself in creating atmospheres through retreats, through an amazing magazine, Be Well Travel and Lifestyle magazine. It's a place that I can just create platforms. It's so many gifts, y'all, in storytelling. I have sat at many tables with many successful women entrepreneurs, but none of their accomplishments, none of their financial successes have compelled me to be inspired more than their stories, because I want to just continue to show women that we are stronger together. Don't let nobody fool you that it is lonely in this entrepreneurial space, and it's so much easier if we can move together. So that's who I am. That's what I do. Yes, I do have, I've been married twice. I have 4 adult children. I'm accumulating a boatload of grandchildren. But my work, my mission, my ministry is creating spaces for women entrepreneurs to soar. Thank you so much, Coach.
Wow, indeed. Thank you so much. And a phenomenal woman you are, and consistently shows up in that space. And so next we have another young lady. And I tell you, when you're talking about working with educators, working with leaders, coaching, when you're talking about empowering women, this young lady here, she definitely puts the fire under people. So I want to bring up my sister in success, none other than Denise Fields Russell.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Coach Ray, Coach Gladney, Coach Barnes, if she's on here. I am DF Russell, Denise Fields Russell. I am an educator. I'm a leader. I'm a wife. I'm a bonus mom. I'm a wonderful TT. I like saying that for my boys, but I am a professional. I'm a professional educator, a professional businesswoman now. I'm excited about having worn all of these hats. I was actually in a school this morning, doing some coaching sessions for a teacher, and then got involved in a conversation with students about what it means to be business like and what it means to have a business mindset. And I told them, I said, it's a wonderful thing to be able to have choices, without changing who you are. And I think I want to say my most exciting piece of my testimony now is just being unapologetic about who I am, and knowing who I am and whose I am makes all the difference. And so I've been an educator all of my adult life. I mean, literally, I started driving the school bus in undergrad, dropping off and picking up from the schools, until I got the call that I could come in and serve as an assistant teacher. And literally, I think I've had every job that you can have in a school, with the exception of a cook and a janitor. And I've done those too if I had to. But as far as just moving up, I'm grateful to God for that. And although I'm not educating full time in a school principal role anymore, I'm still educating. And that's what I'm excited about, being able to educate in so many different realms. Still in education, urban education in particular, in leadership, helping other leaders groom and just grow into their full leadership potential. And now in the business sector, boy, it is different and it can be challenging. But again, when you know who you are and whose you are, anything can happen. So I'm excited about that. Thank you, Coach.
Wow, indeed. Thank you so much. And showing up, like you were saying, and knowing who you are and whose you are, that is it right there. Y'all can't take no more notes. You need to take that one, okay? When you walking into spaces, when you get into those tables, you already got to know who you are and whose you are. And what does she say? Be unapologetic about it, right? So I love it. I love it. And so let's go ahead and turn it right on over. As you guys see, we do not allow technology to rule us, right? Or even stop us. And so here it is. We have none other than this amazing young lady. And she is right here ready to be able to share with you. But when it comes to coaching, when it comes to real estate, when it comes to the relationships, being mentored by probably someone for over 30 years, another woman. Speaking from that perspective, you're going to be able to hear from her, but she is phenomenal in those spaces of sisterhood. So without further ado, none other than the Coach Dion Barnes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is Dion Barnes, and I am a mom, wife, grandmother, but I am a lover of sisterhood, right? I love sharing with other women. I have always believed when I entered into self employment back then, 24 years ago, right? They told me you keep everything close to your vest, like you don't share. And the very essence of me, I've always believed that whatever God has for us is for us, and that we're not supposed to hold our gifts so close and not help someone else. And I'll never forget when I started real estate, I was in what we call the workroom. And I was standing there and there were some conversations happening. And I declared at that moment, I am not going to let this business change who I am. I am going to share. I'm not going to be afraid to share because I know that what God has for me is for me. And I was put in this space to help build people up, help take people to the next level, right? In their thinking and going after what was for them, right? So I remember declaring that. And as I look back over my career and all the time, and this is something you're probably gonna fall out your seats, right? I just became an entrepreneur because 24 years ago, they told us we were self-employed. And you have to pay attention to words, right? Because self-employed kept me in a certain mind space, right? So now I'm an entrepreneur and I've been let loose on this world, right? And I'm super excited about that. So I'm a business strategist. I love putting pieces together. I'm green and my sisters on Success know exactly what that means. I am very green, but I'm very red when I need to be, right? And I'm a business strategist. I love helping people get from point A to point B and to be really clear about how they got there, why they got there, what skills and tools they use to get there, right? And I'm also a lover of people in real estate. Not only my clients, but my customers, my clients, but my colleagues. my colleagues. I really, really value the relationships that I have in that space. And then in my network marketing business, this is a whole different, the industry is amazing, so dynamic. It's giving me a whole nother burst of life and energy, right? So I'm just super excited about sharing with you guys today, and I'm super excited about being on the platform with these giants. So thank you so much.
Wow, indeed. Thank you so very much, Coach Dion. Indeed. And so, as you see, and you just heard her say giants, right? But also, she said that what God has for her is truly for her. If you believe that, you have to make sure that you internalize that and you make sure that that comes forward. So that way, you're just not cheating yourself from making sure that you connect with other women because of maybe the fear of feeling as though like they are ahead of you, or that maybe what someone else maybe have stated, right? You have to be able to get to know individuals for yourself, but then also to be able to be for sure that you're in alignment. That's one reason that maybe people cannot move forward with great healthy relationships with women, is because you do not know what the assignment is for each one of your lives. Make it real clear about that. So I'm getting ready to take you into some questions, all right? And so the very first one, I want to be able to go ahead and ask that amazing coach and educator, none other than Denise Fields Russell. If you could please share with us, and then we'll go in the order of Denise, then we'll go to Carmen, and then we'll go to Dion. And that is, what was the pivotal moment in your entrepreneurial journey that shaped your leadership style and the values of your sisterhood in business?
November 9th, 2022, 11/9/22, 11922. November 9th, 2022. Talk about a pivot. And this is for anyone out there. I see some people are on the platform with us. Hopefully, some people are catching it on Facebook, wherever you're catching it. I'm the example, and I know I'm just one example, but I might be the most recent example of what it means to truly know how to pivot unexpectedly. See, sometimes you can see something coming and you kind of make that pivot before it comes. Sometimes it hits you in the mouth, like the brick used to hit the cat in Tom and Jerry, used to hit him in the mouth and all the teeth just fall. It comes so unexpectedly and it's so hard. That's what happened when I was terminated from my full-time position as a school principal, something I had been working in all of my life, like in education, and became a leader at an early age, you all. I became a principal at 29, and to be terminated at 44 for something that was really wrong, just wrongful accusations, just intimidation by my bosses. It was tough. But when you talk about pivot, see, leadership isn't, how does the phrase go? You can really gauge your leadership in the middle of a test. Your leadership has to be tested in order to really understand if you are a leader. There are many people who would have been terminated from their six-figure position and crawled under a rock and nearly died, cried, not knowing what to do, falling in a state of depression. No. And shout out to Director Dion. I believe it was, I can't remember the book it was, but she was telling me that about a book that said it was like the stages. It's almost like the stages of grief, right? And there are stages that you go through even after losing something like a job. And although I didn't get the book, I didn't feel like I had to, because I believed everything she was telling me about that book and how you can go up, down, up, down. But when I tell you the fact that I had been connected to an organization, to a family, to a sisterhood, and please understand this, while Dr. Shontina was telling you all, breaking down the word sisterhood and what the hood is and the sister in the hood, sisters don't always hug. Sisters don't always agree. The little sister is usually the one who's the loudest, and nope, I'm not doing that. And the big sisters are like, look, you need to blah blah blah, right? That's what happens in sisterhood, but that's what forms who you are. You cannot form your own mindset and your own journey in leadership, if you're afraid to be that person that says, no, I want to say this, or no, I want to say that, and we can laugh and smile and fall out the chair now because we know, we understand, and that's what it takes in order to keep building who you are as a leader. And there are so many women out there, some men too, but we talking sisterhood today. So many women out there, if you all understood, it's okay. It's okay to fall. It's getting back up for me. It's okay to not agree. It's the coming back together for me. And that's what it's going to take to truly understand how to pivot and not just like replant your feet, but like, bam, I'm here, and keep on running into that next journey, wherever that next journey is taking you.
Indeed, you are so right. Oh my goodness. What a journey. What a journey. And but it is, you right, it shapes us into who we are. And isn't that something, how some people are still premature and because they never face that, or they want to be passive, right?
And coach, I'm sorry.
No,
Yes,
this is
as you're
it.
saying that, I'm
Yes.
thinking how I don't want anybody to miss that. That might have been the testimony, but the question that you asked, like, what in
Yes.
that pivotal moment, like, what would you
Yes.
attribute that leadership to? You all just understand this: the same drive, the same hunger, the same passion, the same commitment that you've given to a job, you
Yes.
can do that to yourself, so that when that pivotal moment does come, you're able to say, the same way I got up for work every day, I'm going to get up for my business every day. The same way I knew how to connect and build relationships on the job, now I got to connect and build relationships out here. So everything you used in the building, use
Mhm.
it in the house now. Use it out and about while you're formulating your new walk.
Wow, indeed. Powerful. Yes, indeed. And so here we go, right on over to you, Carmen.
Oh goodness, I love this question so much because it really forced me to take inventory and think. I've had so many pivotal times, but let me tell you the one that came to my mind this morning. I recall back in 2004-ish, a woman that I had seen her as a mentor and a good friend for years. She was very well positioned in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, highly respected, and had business influence, political influence. She was the truth and very well respected, was building a huge legacy for her family. Well, she was my mentor for years. So let me tell you what happened. My message to women is, please take inventory of your gifts. You need to really take some time. I didn't even realize that this was a true example of what my leadership style is today. My leadership style is that I am absolutely the best second base player any woman of leadership could have. I'm that one that will go all in on your dreams. Going to be the one to make sure that I bring credibility to what you're doing. I'm that person. That's how my leadership shows up. And I was just sitting here looking over the questions. I was like, where did that come from? And I realized where it came from, 2004. So y'all bear with me. I really need you to hear this story. So remember, this was my mentor, somebody that I truly admired. She had all the stuff. Cause see, I was really young, like maybe in my 40s. And so that's when you're into stuff. I'm not as much into stuff in my 60s now, but she had the house of my dreams. She drove everything that I liked. She was a blessing to her family. I just admired her. So check this out. She hit a bump in the road. See, if you are really into sisterhood, you're going to really learn that no matter what level is on, they can hit a bump in the road. And she hit a bump in the road. A ton of her funding was tied up into government funding. And listen, she had the world watching her, the entire city. She was operating, one of her projects was a school, but she had many business endeavors. She had an entire high school waiting to get paid. And because our mentee relationship turned into a friendship, out of all of the successful women that she could have called, she just called me and was saying, I can't believe this. So I don't remember the details. Something happened with her contract. She had an entire school full of people waiting to get paid. And let me tell you, don't nobody drag us like us. And trust and believe, no matter how many payrolls she's met, but if she didn't meet this payroll, they was gonna hang her out to dry. See, I had been in the family business long enough to know how quickly our people can turn on us. So when she called me, she didn't ask me for nothing. I ain't nothing but a little mentee. I was nothing but a safe place for her to share. But let me tell you about the power of knowing how to play your second base. I didn't have the money that she needed, but let me tell you what I've never been short of is knowing people that do. So I called somebody that definitely had it, and her payroll she was playing at a different level. Her payroll was over $80,000. And I called that person, and I was the second base player for my friend and my mentor. I advocated for her on that conversation. And let me tell you what happened. That person believed in what I was sharing. I was like, she's going to give this back. I edified her to the highest level. This woman would not ever think about, she didn't even know I was doing it. See, who are you talking about? Who are you promoting? Who are you advocating for when they're not in the room? See, the only time you can say something good to me is when I'm in the room. They ain't the kind of sisterhood I'm talking about. I need the kind that when I'm not in the room, and maybe I've made some mistakes, but I still got that sister that I can count on that's still going to be pushing for me, saying, yep, her road has been bumpy, but at the end of the day, she really wants to see us all do well. Like, that's the people I got to have in my circle at this ripe age. I can't have that wishy-washy gray area stuff. So how about within 48 hours, I was able to deliver to her $80,000 to cover her payroll. And at that time, it took me all the way from 2004 to 2024 this morning to realize that is the reason why now that I am with these ladies within the top 1% of our company, over 100,000, is because I am the best second base player there is. See, I was the first person out of this group to become a director in the program and the project that we're in now. And it's because I understood my role. See, I knew that I believed in the leadership of Dr. Shontina, just like my mentor back in 2004. Could nobody tell me nothing about her? I know she was sincere in all that she did. So let me tell you, that's why I said it's not about me. It's about me being an example of what real sisterhood look like. Like, I know we don't know all the answers to this. This is a real network marketing is a beast. I ain't never heard of it. Don't know what I'm doing. But I believe that you're going to scrutinize it enough that I'm going to bring the noise to it. So that is what I can say about my leadership, is that we got to take time. We got to take inventory. What have I done? There are some things that we are so great at, but we're too busy in this era of social media that we don't know how to sit down and get still. We don't know how to sit down and think. Like, you need to schedule time to journal, to think, to ponder. What gifts have God given me? And then the best thing that you can lead is yourself. If you figure out a level of mastery for yourself, that is going to automatically attract like-minded, like-spirited women to exactly what it is that you're doing. Thank you so much for that question, Coach.
Indeed. Oh my goodness, is on you. But oh my goodness, Carmen, powerful, right? I mean, who cannot reflect on that and take some nuggets? I was just sitting up here like, okay, I'm gonna watch this replay so I can do my notes. So yes, and you are so right. Oh my goodness. And second base is the most important, right? Oh my goodness. Some people don't even make it to that base, but it's important. So I appreciate you for all and who you are in my life. So thank you so very much. And so we're getting ready to turn this right on over to Deon Barnes, and so that she can move forward and let us know with that question. Go ahead.
Wow, right? I'm so full though from these two. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I don't know if you all caught that out there. Get your pen and get your notebook, right? And take some notes, because this is a real life conversations and it's truthful, right? So this is something you really want to write down. Now for me, my pivotal moment for and again with these questions too, Dr. Shontina, I looked at the questions like Carmen, I'm like, whoa, like, okay, let me really think about this and self-reflect, because we're always in the grind, right? Sometimes you can be in the picture and just be too close to things. But my pivotal moment, believe it or not, I told you guys I'm a 24-year veteran in the real estate business. But do you know my pivotal moment happened in 2015, December 2015, when I got introduced to network marketing. Because guess what got introduced to? Entrepreneurship. It's a difference. It's a difference in the mindset. And then all of a sudden I began to say, wait a minute. I had an opportunity to look at, this is my leadership style. I do lead. So self-employed, words are very, very important, and the connotations that are attached to them are very, very important, and it can impact you greatly. So all those years I'm in bondage thinking I'm working. I never even really thought about, I knew I was building a real estate business, but let me tell you, when I became an entrepreneur, when I did that mindset shift, that's when the magic began to happen. Because guess what began to happen? Relationships. Because see, as an entrepreneur, you have to build relationships. And then I began to know what those relationships meant. All of those colleagues and all of my partners that I work with. Wow, wait a minute. I began to take it to the next level. Why? Because I seen that we were all going somewhere. But when you're in self-employed, you're in that quadrant when it's a glorified job and you're doing the task to get things done, right, Carmen? You're shaking your head, right? And then what do? We typically keep it separate. When you're self-employed, I go in there, I run my business, I do what I have to, and then I come home. But entrepreneurship, no, it's your life. You build your business around your life, not your life around your business. It's a difference. And in this game that we're in now, when I got that awakening, when I woke up, do you know this has been some of the best years in my real estate business that I've enjoyed? Why? Because I allowed the relationships to foster. I have met some amazing people in my journey this whole 24 years. And these last 6 to 8 years, these last 8 years, I've been able to really foster relationships and grow and develop. And what I was able to determine about myself in my leadership style is that I am the lighthouse in the storm. How you see me now is how you will see me in a crisis situation. How you will see me, I'm always going to bring it back to the calmness of the things, right? And I'm always going to say, hey, let's look at the facts. And then I'm looking at where we're trying to go. Is all of this craziness going to stop us from where we're trying to go? Well, we got to get that out the way. So I'm always going to be that lighthouse in the storm while the waters are raging, right? I am loyal to the core, right? If you know me, you know I don't play team. I don't play team well. If I'm on your team, I'm on your team. And that comes from different values that I have. Integrity, transparency, confidentiality is a big deal to me. Not only in my real estate business, but in my personal relationships. So, and you'll see that in my leadership style as well. If we go into a conference, it's going to be our conference. You're not going to hear our conference all over the internet by subliminal messages and all of this crazy stuff. No, no. So that's who I am. I'm going to be in your leadership. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to be that lighthouse in the storm. I'm going to be very, very, very steady. So that's what you'll get from me.
Wow, indeed, indeed. Yes, indeed. And it keeps moving. And you heard that being able to, when you, the first word is loyalty that sticks out. When you're looking at sisterhood, you have to work your way towards that. That's not something that someone is going to get when they first come into a relationship, right? That grows, that extends, but the trust comes along with that as well. That's what builds the loyalty, right? So I mean, just amazing. You ladies are truly making sure that you're giving some valuable information for people to be able to know, like, maybe this is stopping me from getting to that next level in my career, right? With me being able to really make an impact in what it is that I'm doing. And so as we look at this next question, I want to go ahead and I want to make sure that I bring up to the stage none other than Carmen Ray on this one first, and then we'll go on right on over to Dion, and then we'll go to Denise. So how do you balance assertiveness and empathy in your leadership role, especially within a female-dominated professional environment?
Mm. Wow, that was a good one too. I actually made some notes about that. And I want to make sure I don't, how I really balance assertiveness is by creating space for people to evolve at their own level. um, Business, especially network marketing, has shown me that people simply don't know what they don't know. They just don't know what they don't know. So I try to create space. But more recently, I've been in the network marketing space for 7 years. But now, what I've learned in the last 2 to 3 years, me giving a person space cannot be to the detriment of my growth. So before I would compromise and a lot by giving way too much time. And it just really has shown me that I need to create that space, number one, for people to evolve, because people need grace and they need space. And I'm able to give that because so much grace has been given to me. And so I'm able to really allow people to grow, but I'm so clear about where I'm going and what I'm doing. I balance it by making sure that I keep first things first. And the other thing that being assertive really means is leading by example. Because, see, a real leader is going to be able to show the evidence of what it is that they're doing. I'm only going to hear you so long and so much. But if I'm sitting there listening to somebody and I'm just not seeing the alignment of what you're saying, so I really take pride in being what's called an evidence-based coach. I'm not going to ask you, I can't show you how to get, my goal in this particular project is to earn 6 figures part-time. I'm not at the 6 figures part-time yet because, see, my time is just as valuable as my money. So it may be some people, I've earned 6 figures in a business before, but it was to my detriment because I didn't have time to do nothing else. No, it's a new day. I need to leverage those relationships, be assertive about whose action is lining up with what they say, and that's who I gotta spend my time and my energy on. But I love that question. So that's my balancing act, is just giving people space to really do what it is they say that they want to do, but it cannot be to the detriment of my goals.
That was definitely real conversation, Carmen. And I'm
Mhm.
quite sure many of us can relate to that. And so, what about you? Talking about sister and success, Dion.
Wow. How do I balance assertiveness and empathy? Because I am so kind of like how you see me now, right? I have to be I'm very, very conscious about when I do need to be assertive. So what I do very consistently is whenever I have something I need to talk about, or if I'm trying to communicate something, I always approach it with love and kindness. Love and kindness, I approach thee. Why? Because then that puts that softness over me, because sometimes I may not come across as soft, right? So I always began to think about, before I speak, I ask a lot of questions. I listen, and I listen. And if years ago, they always told us, as women, we can't, you can't own your feelings. You have to be this. But I'm not afraid to listen with my heart, because I know that I'm very, very smart, right? And I listen analytically and I really listen critically. And so before I speak or before I share my perspective, I'm really listening and asking questions to find out, where is this person at? And then when I respond to them, I want to respond with how I would want to. I don't want you to leave me feeling torn down or beat up, right? Because I know that's not how I want to leave a conversation ever, whether it's good or bad, right? So I'm going to be very, very factual when I have to be assertive, but I am going to show empathy in the fact that I listen to you, I understand. And Carmen, you said something that really, I use it a lot in my life, and when I come up against challenging situations in real estate, because we are working with a lot of emotional people on both sides. There's so many emotions, and I always look at grace. You said something about grace. We have to give people grace. We have to, because you just never know when you will need it. Lord knows I need it. I'm not perfect. Steve Harvey was speaking this morning about his show. I don't know if they must be going through something. And he asked the listeners, he said, please give us some grace. Our mission, my goal is to empower you. Anybody attached to me, I want to see you get to the next level. Not with me dragging you and carrying you. I want you to do it. I want you to recognize that giant inside of you and you move for what you want, because it's really, really clear that you define what you want, who you are, what you want, why you want it, and that you stay in control of that. And Steve Harvey was asking the listeners to give them grace. Give them grace because that's what they want to do. So when I talk to people and I have to be assertive, and if it doesn't, maybe they don't take it right. But I always go in knowing what my intention is, what my heart is. So no matter how it's received or changed around, God always prevails, right? Because something happens where they're like, nope, we know her. That is not how she would have done that, right? So I always approach that. I do have to be assertive. As green as I am, I have to be assertive quite a bit in the roles that I play daily. But I look to give people grace and listening. And that's how I can give empathy and still get my point across and be who I am in leadership.
Wow. And indeed, I do. I see that displayed and walked consistently. And so now we're going right on over to our sister in success, none other than Denise. Go ahead.
Coach, didn't you? I want to make sure that I got the second half of the question, because you said, how
Yes.
do we balance assertiveness and empathy? Did you say in a female dominated industry? What did you say?
Uh-huh. Yep. So how do you balance assertiveness and empathy in your leadership role, especially within a female dominated professional environment? Mhm.
Okay. You all know I'm a wordsmith, so I wanted to make sure, because
Yes.
there are some major words in there. You heard Dion and Carmen talk about being assertive and having empathy. Um, Knowing that being assertive is just being confident and forceful when needed, there's a balance that you have to know how to toy with, or a line that you have to know how to walk on when you're dealing with other women. See, because men kind of know women to be, forceful in nature, especially if we're passionate about something. But when you are assertive, um, in a female dominated kind of industry or leadership role, if you're not careful, there could be no end to that, because women in leadership are usually strong, forceful, courageous. They can be unapologetic, right? And so you have to know when to step back and put or step outside of yourself for a minute, and then put yourself in that person's position, right? How can I be empathetic knowing that as a woman, see, if I'm talking to a man and he doesn't understand emotionally what women may go through, that's one thing. You may be all day, because they're not wired the way we are. We're not wired the way they are. But most women, we understand each other. And we understand that if there's something that's going on personally or emotionally, you may come off a certain way. And someone who understands what it means to be empathetic to another woman can step back for a minute and just say, I can't be as assertive today, because I know you're going through something, and I was in that seat last year. Or, and again, using myself as an example, if I ran up in a conversation with a woman who had just been terminated from her job, and she's hurt because she's never been terminated. I was that person. She was never wrongfully accused of something. I was that person. In a split second, you should be able to say, this is a whole different day. It's that, like you said, Dion, that's not her. That's not, we got, and then it goes back to that grace. We got to give her some grace, y'all. She's battling something that none of us have battled, or she's battling something that we all know what it's like to sit in that seat. And when you are in leadership, man, that's my favorite word. When you're in leadership, it ain't always fun and it ain't always easy, but it has to be recognizable. Leaders who've gone through a lot of things aren't foreign to us anymore. It's just like, dog, I thought I passed that test already. I got to go through that again, right? Or, man, I just dealt with that. Well, you got to deal with it again because it's a different person. It's a whole different group. And I like how Carmen keeps saying, in our project that we're in right now, right? In this organization, this project that we're on, as we keep moving up. That's why there are new tests. There are going to be new challenges, new battles. Like I tell my team, I can't help you get there. I can only help you get to where I am. And then once I get to the next level, then I can help you get there. But I can't tell you how to get to six figures. I can tell you how to make six figures on somebody's job. I don't want to tell you about that. I want to learn how to do six figures as an entrepreneur so then I can help you get there, right? So being assertive, and most people love confidence when it comes from the person that's leading them. And they want you to be assertive when they like watching you be assertive with others. But when it's with them, it's like, wait, I don't like it. And so just having that insight and ability to know when to be empathetic, dealing with the female the dot dot dot. we just, when you're a leader, you know how to balance the two.
Oh my goodness, you said beyond a mouthful. I mean, man, that actually. So everybody, you was able to get the course, the, what do you call it, the encore, right before the encore, because that was just amazing. With all of you and how that came, and then for our fireball to go ahead and just add a dash to the fire right on it, right? So yes, let's go to this next question. And so, how do you approach mentorship within your sisterhood? And how has mentorship played a role in your own journey to success? So we're talking about mentorship, ladies. And I want to start off with none other than Dion Barnes. And so that she can go ahead and share with us that question, because mentorship is so important, everyone. Can you imagine having a mentor that has already been through and can see further than you? I know a lot of times many people do not have the gift of mentorship, and mentorship is truly a gift, right? And so I just want to go ahead and ask that question to you ladies.
Wow, mentorship. Wow, I have been so blessed with the many mentors. I have so many in my life. But the one young lady, I'll call her young, but she has been a mentor to me for over 25 years now. And it's interesting, and I'm going to share the dynamic with you because she is my cousin, okay? But before, um, she's much older. She's the same age as my mom, right? So you guys know we weren't like hanging out, okay? But when I decided to get into real estate, she was the director for the Shore West office so I went to her. And guys, I'm sharing this just simply because I hope this helps somebody. When you're serious about something and you want to go and ask for someone's time, right? You have to show up serious. Okay. Now she's my cousin, but when I went to speak to her at Shore West because I was interested in getting into real estate, I went with a suit on. I went with my portfolio. I had my resume done. I had questions for her, right? So first off, that established the relationship in on that level. Like I came here for business. And then as I began to grow in my real estate career, guess what? She took me very seriously to begin with. And I took her serious. And then our mentor-mentee relationship began to develop. And it was interesting because you heard people who didn't understand in the office wondering, oh, well, because that's her cousin, she's going to do this. But here's the thing, her character ended that whole conversation. Why? Because as my mentor, she expected me to rise to the levels that I needed to be. There was no kid gloves. No, I had to learn the lessons like everyone else. But you know what? She collapsed some time frames for me. Why? Because I was willing as a mentee. See, you can't go into a relationship as a mentee trying to be the mentor, right? You have to learn. What did Carmen talk about? Second base. Yeah, you need to fall back and listen and be poured into, right? So a lot of my leadership style and how I am came from her. Why? Because she was a woman, small, like physical stature, right? But she was a giant. And she was always the lighthouse in the storm. I never witnessed her being frazzled, right? But guess what I did witness? I witnessed her calm spirit. I witnessed her not being apologetic about her belief in Christ, right? And telling us, I pray over this office every single day. I walk through here with my prayer partners and I pray over each and every desk in this office. And then what happened? The amazement through Shore West. They said that little office over there selling houses in the city, how they number one? What? What? Yes, lives changing. You know what she told me, and I'll never forget this, and I share this with anytime when I'm speaking to someone about coming into real estate and now network marketing. She said, Dion, real estate will change your life. I said, will it? And I was sitting there because I wasn't sure still. She said, look at her. Does she look different than you? She has a degree. Do you have a degree? I said, yes. She said, she has a salary position. Don't you have a salary position? I said, yes. She said, so look at her. You don't look no different than her. Look at him. And she gave his credentials. And of course, my credentials, I have the same. So guys, when you look at having mentorships and relationships, but here's the part. This is the part that's amazing. As much as she poured into me, guess what I gave back to her? Because it can't be one-sided, right? Guess what I gave back to her? First off, I gave her a hungry student, right? Who respected her and wanted to learn everything I possibly could from her. But then I gave her my success, my wins, right? I gave her my wins. I gave her me walking across the stage, getting awards and being award winning ever since. I gave her my successes. I purchased her home. Okay. So when I talk about that, when I talk about being a mentor and mentee, I have people that tell me now that I'm their mentor. And I'm like, wow, but I'm at a place in my life now where I'm giving to my sisters. I'm giving everything that I have. And if you can take something that will change your life, guess what? It's a good day for me. Because my whole goal in life, my whole mission is to be impactful in a positive way. And so when I'm talking to my friends and my colleagues, I have CFOs of companies and they're smart as all get out. And they come and they ask me questions like, wow, thank you. And I say, wow, that's something. That's what it's about, you all. This relationship thing, it is not one-sided. You have to come to the table with something. We cannot have relationships and be seeking out, I want you to be a mentor. I meant to be a mentor. When you're thinking about that, you need to be thinking about, when I go to get something from them, what am I going to give back? Who else am I going to help? Right? I'm just not going to come and fill up my plate and walk away. Because guess what? As full as you think you're getting your plate, you will have some spoils on it because it does not work that way. You have to give back. You have to. So that's my thought process with mentorship. And I have them for 30 years for owners of companies that are mentors of mine. And believe it or not, I'm mentoring them too. Why? Because it's reciprocal. It's give and take, give and take. And that would be my answer to that
Wow.
question.
And amazing answer that is. And we can all apply pieces and bits of that, right? So thank you so very much for sharing that. And let's go right on over to Carmen, and so that we can hear your perspective.
Wow, yes, that mentorship is so important. And it's so important also that we don't assume that we're mentors. We should give, I want to be asked if somebody is wanting something from me so that I can be specific in my mentorship to make sure that I'm meeting their needs. But so many times we have access to mentors with YouTube. I have people that I watch faithfully on YouTube, and they are mentoring me. Books come through mentorship. That's why personal development cannot be something that you take lightly. It has to be an important part of your life. But right now, I'm able to really have good, healthy mentorship relationships with two people who are foundational to my business. And that's my friend, Jojo Pye. We've been in that mentor-mentee kind of relationship for years, and who I consider to be a business mentor because he's accomplished some things that I'm working towards. Is Michael DeMai with We Merge Media. So he don't necessarily see himself in my life as a mentor, but I have just snatched him up as a mentor because I want to be able to think strategically, creatively with a marketing mind. And you're going to have different people in your life, ladies, that have different roles of mentorship. So I have had multiple mentors. Like my go-to person, if I want to know how to be able to leverage network marketing with my traditional business, nobody does that like Coach Shontina. So that, therefore, when it comes to that part, I know that this is who I got to go to. There's nothing that Jojo Pye or Mike can help me with in that area. So I know I got to have a mentor in a certain area. So that's what I want us to do, is define that. But I love serving people. Once the person reach up and they reach their hand to me and say, I'd like for you to be my mentor. How can you help me to be successful in hosting incredible events for women entrepreneurs? How can you help me to become a director out of 100,000 people? I'm like, come on, let's do this. But what I've learned not to do is assume that somebody wants my mentorship. So that's something that I want you to be direct and ask, because the people that play that role of mentorship in my life, they know it. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, you ladies, you guys don't even understand the power that is right here and being delivered to you. I don't even know if it's found, right? But you know what? That is so powerful, Carmen. Many times people do, and they're looking for all things and everything in one person. But that's not it. And you're right. We have to know where that mentorship lies in each one of us. And I believe each one of us can say, how is it that a little piece of mentorship is taken from each one of us through our relationships that one or the other one hasn't been through, but the other one is a guru at. And so I appreciate you for saying that, because that is definitely just amazing. And it is so very true in a way that you can be able to understand mentorship and value it. So thank you. Come on up here. None other than Denise. Let us know. Let us know.
Okay, so I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound a little cold-hearted to people who like look for mentors and don't get it, right? So there have been several times that young people will come up to me, and when I say young people, I mean just maybe younger than I am, and they'd say, "Oh, will you be my mentor?" And I never wanted to say yeah. Like, yeah, sure. You know why? Because it always sounded like a job, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to keep up with, like, do I got to check in with them every day? Like, I don't. And if we're honest about it, sometimes that's not what people want to do. When you're busy, you have multiple obligations, and then the cold heartedness is like somebody said to me, how could you tell somebody no? I said, I don't think I told them no. It just didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? I said, and that's what I don't like, to commit to something knowing that, am I going to go up to this girl's school every Friday and go sit in the class and check on her? No, I'm not going to do that. And so what I learned, though, Carmen said, don't assume that everyone wants your mentorship. Don't assume that everyone wants to be an active mentor. So because of that, I said, I have to continue to live my life in such a way that made them look at me. Because if you were watching me and wanted me to be your mentor, then keep watching, right? And if you reach out, if you have a question, you got a problem, we can chat. I'll be there, but I don't want to commit to a daily, oh, we're going to meet every Wednesday at 1:00, because I might forget, right? And I don't want to be a poor mentor. So I think that when we're looking at mentorship within our sisterhood and beyond, and people looking at us, be the person be the mentor from afar. Many of us have mentors who know that they're our mentor, and many of us have mentors they have no idea. The first time I thought about who my mentor was John Maxwell. John Maxwell doesn't know me from a can of beans, but I have every last book he's ever written. I have 2 full shelves on my bookshelf of all Maxwell leadership books. Literally, I can go and pull any one. And I've always said, if I ever have the chance to meet him, he's going to know that he's been my mentor for a long time when it comes to leadership. And someone had the nerve to ask me once when I was principal over a high school, 7th through 12th grade, minority girls. And I always used Maxwell, but the school was titled Young Women's Leadership Charter School of Chicago. And there was a woman who was not of the same racial ethnicity as me. She came up and said, why would you choose a Caucasian male to be like to serve as a mentor for these girls? I said, are you serious? I said, it's not about, I said, if you really understood what the concept of what he's trying to teach, it doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter the gender. Leadership is a concept. It's an action word. What actions can we take from his leadership teaching that these girls will benefit from? And when we focus on one of his 21 qualities of leadership, in October one year, beginning of school year, there were so many broken relationships that these girls had with parents, with fathers, with boyfriends, with baby daddies. And I said, we got to focus on what it means to build and rebuild relationships. By the end of that month, those girls were like, Miss Fields, I was Fields then. Miss Fields, me and my mama had a great dinner last night because I told her we focusing on rebuilding, and it just brought tears to my eyes. I said, that's why I chose Maxwell, because the concepts that he teaches is far reaching. It doesn't matter if it's in the spiritual realm or the natural realm. So that was one. I have a second mentor who, and sometimes we can relate to people who are like us. I'm extra. I'm loud. I'm over the top. When I met this person in our project who was just like me, but older than me, and I started watching them because of something they said when they came to Milwaukee. Their father was ill. And at the time, my father wasn't ill, but she said she walked in and heard the nurses say, he doesn't have enough money to stay here. And she said, well, his daughter does, and opened up her checkbook and wrote out the check for the remainder of his stay at the rehab. Instantly, I said, that's what I want to be able to do. And if that's what I want to be able to do, I got to watch what she's doing. And I said, she's unapologetic about who she is. She's extra. She's over the top. I said, sounds like a Denise to me, right? And since then, we've developed such a wonderful relationship. And then my best friend, that's a whole different mentorship on a spiritual realm. You need a mentor that's going to tell you when you're out of order, and that's going to support you in everything. She's not in business with me. And she's honest enough to say, why? I just don't want to work. I just don't want to. I like my life. I don't need anything else, but I'm going to support you in everything. When I'm angry about something, she'll say, okay, D, I hear you, but don't you think you should have blah, blah, blah? And why didn't you? I'm like, okay, best friend, you're right. So we have mentors, and some of them are sisters. Some of them are brothers who are helping us in our walk as a woman. Why? Because we're going to be in business and we're going to be in relationships with the opposite sex. So find your mentor. Maybe you can tell them, maybe you don't have to. Maybe they don't have time to do it, but their life will be a reflection that you want to follow.
Yes.
Wow, indeed. I mean, so many great nuggets was shared here today. And so we want to make sure that we are right on target. And there's so much more. I'm quite sure you guys, if you're not following these amazing, amazing women, make sure you follow them on social media because there is some other conversation. We are right in the midst of embarking up on International Women's Business Women's Month. There's so many things to be stated. And yes, they were dropped right here, but there's so much more to come. But now we want to go ahead and open it up for any questions. If there aren't any questions, we have some more information for you. But we want to go ahead and we want to hear from you. What questions does any of you have for these young ladies that are on here, these business women that also truly, truly have sisterhood at heart, and that's why they are where they are today. I'm following and learning from each of you trailblazing women. Oh, Christina, thank you. Great to see you indeed in that LA, what is it, LA or California area? Yes, direct partner with Carmen. And you see how
Yes,
that works?
San
You know,
Diego. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Okay. Sure, you can go ahead. I think is there someone that had a question? Oh, yeah, there we go. Barbara Andrews. She wanted to know how long did it take for you all to develop that entrepreneurial mindset? Go ahead.
I'll go after Denise.
Okay, I was about to
Okay.
say, I know Carmen can I know any of us could answer that. But I think for the person out there who has not been an entrepreneur like for a long time, I don't have the years of entrepreneurship behind me the way Dr. Shontina and Director Carmen do. But I had have such a high work ethic that I feel like that was just able to transfer over to the entrepreneur. I had to get an entrepreneurial mindset. If I didn't have it before I got let go, oh Lord, what would have happened on the 10th? I would have been like, I gotta go find a job. I'm gonna go to Century, like just anywhere, right, to get a job because I would be afraid that I couldn't do it on my own. So I kind of spoke to that in my responses earlier. So I don't know how long it takes. Sometimes you do it because you have to, and if you don't think you have it now, then follow the people who do, so you can kind of start developing some of those traits.
This question really, Barbara, thank you for this question. It really took me back to what Director Dion, I believe, was talking about, that mindset and that's being self-employed. I had a lot of years of self-employment too, where you're only getting paid for your own efforts. So I can say, when I received my first residual check from this amazing project that I can't wait to share with you all. That's what put me in the mindset and what it means to do a thing and not have to have your income tied to it. You know, the fact that in this business, my mindset is that I can leverage the skills and talents of other people, and I don't make money off those people, but I had a capacity to lead them in a way that we can make money together. We make money with each other, not off each other. And when you're working on a job, you know already that we're most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, we're doing just enough to get fired and we're getting paid just enough to quit. And so in that entrepreneurial space and that mindset, it really hit home for me on Sunday. Let me share with you real quick, Barbara, because I want you to get this, because I know the journey that you're on, and I want you to hear me and hear me loud and clear. Out of everything we're sharing right now, I need you to know your biggest thing you can do to have an entrepreneurial mindset is to keep showing up. I had breakfast with Michael DeMond on Sunday morning. I listened, we shared it in information, but what I kept hearing without him saying it is he made time last year for CEO activity. Normally that would repel me, like, oh God, I mean, he talking about numbers and tracking. Like, I'm just the second bass player. I just want to show up and just, do the noise. Like, I want to bring all the attention. That's my personality. That's my skill set. And so I was cringing hearing him all last year saying he had to do CEO activity, but I felt convicted. And then in my entrepreneurial mindset yesterday, I forced myself to go back and look at my calendar. What was my income goals? It was so crazy, y'all. It was the income goal that I had was so ridiculous for that week last week that I didn't dare not even go back and look at it. But when I heard him say the CEO activities, I went back and I went through every transaction and I looked at every bit of income, no matter how small, and added it. And I know if it wasn't for the entrepreneurial mindset and that CEO activity, I had no idea. Right before my eyes, I had exceeded my goal by $68. I was like, wait a minute, where did that come from? How did that come through? And so, in an entrepreneur, you can't be only willing to work on your business. You got to work in your business. You got to shut all the noise down, and you got to track what it is that you're doing. If I recruited and I partnered with 10 people in January, what is happening in January, so that I know I need to be geared up for January 2025. Like, we must take the time to make that assessment. So my biggest mindset is understanding that there's no destination, Barbara. It is an ongoing learning opportunity. Nobody, as Mr. Bradley would say, none of us have made any money yet. So none of us have arrived yet, because we are still evolving and learning. If you keep showing up, you're going to learn even more.
Wow. Wow, Barbara. Great question. Great answers, Denise and Carmen. I agree with a lot of what you said, but what really resonated with me for you, Barbara, is you need to keep plugging in. Keep plugging in. Personal development is the key to being able to be an entrepreneur and be successful. Why? Because you have to pull on so many different parts of your personality, right? And then I think the journey for me. What did I know? Like I said, when I got involved with network marketing and the definition of an entrepreneur, when Mr. Bradley began to say we're entrepreneurs, and when I read it and it said that we're changing people's lives, right, and we're moving and making decisions, I was like, whoa, wait a minute! All this time I've been self-employed. What? Stuck in this box that they put me in. When you decide, Barbara, that you're going to stick with something no matter what, because we do a lot of work as entrepreneurs that we don't get paid for, but we get paid for it. I don't know if that makes sense. We don't get paid for, but we get paid for, right? When you look at that, when you get that, it's a courage inside of you. And you may have to be pushed out like Denise, because Denise kept getting signs, and she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. But her higher power, God, said it's time. So sometimes you have to get out. I think it's a lot of that entrepreneur, when you know in your heart of hearts, Barbara, that you're going to be on a full-time entrepreneurial journey. And that doesn't mean quit your job just because you're on a full-time entrepreneurial journey, right? We have sometimes, that doesn't mean that. But when you know for sure, it's going to be because you've done a lot of self-reflecting. And now you know who you are, right? You know what you stand for, your goals, your values. All of that is really going to come into play when you decide, I'm definitely going to do this entrepreneurial thing. Why? Because you're going to pull on a lot of things, a lot of parts of you. That's why the 13 pillars are so very, very important. So very, very important, because as you grow, as you evolve, you're going to change. Some people are going to be able to go with you. Some people aren't going to be able to go with you. Some of those certain things that you have to look at, like Carmen was talking about, I fight that too sometimes. But you won't know where you're going if you can't track it. So then you got to open up the books and you're going to look at those wins. I think you heard it on the IMD when they were very transparent about how they looked at their goal. They looked in their back office. They looked at their business and seen it had not moved. And they said, wait a minute, we're in momentum. Why did my business move? Okay, it's up to me. What am I going to do? So it's jumping on that ship that Dr. Shontina talks to us about. Ownership, the biggest ship in the world that people hate to get on. But if you're going to do this entrepreneurial thing, you're going to have to jump on that ship, because nothing happening in your business, your world is going to happen. It's going to happen if you don't do it. Like, you have to inspire. You don't have to go do every single thing. Like Carmen talked about residual income. I almost lost my mind when I because I started at zero every single time in real estate. Do I do well? Yes, I do. But do I have to work hard like a dog? Yeah, yes, I do. Doing the same things that I love doing, though. Helping people grow, helping them get to the next level, pouring into them, becoming my best self, putting myself in positions to become my best self and be groomed, right? Man, listen, Barbara, you got this. You got this, but it's really your made up mind, and there's no magic switch that's gonna pop off. There's not gonna be what do you call it? um, a show of fireworks,
Mhm.
right? But you'll know. You'll know. It is really entrepreneurship is you. It's who you are. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. I had to learn it. But you got to know who you are, whose you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and not be afraid to track it and hold yourself accountable.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Powerful.
Can I,
And
can I please answer Christina's question?
What
Um,
was her question?
she, Barbara wanted us all to go through it.
Oh, please
And
do go.
yep, and
Please
so,
go.
yep, so we're gonna get through. No, that's okay. And so I know she said that she wanted all of us to be able to answer, and then we definitely will. We will definitely get to right to Christina's, and then Carmen, if you want to answer that one first. But when we talk about the entrepreneur's mindset, I was able to witness my mother, my grandfather, and my mother, my grandfather, and my grandmother not work for anyone. And do you understand? I thought that that was the worst thing they could have ever done to us, because everyone else, their parents was taught, they were talking about what jobs that their parents worked at. And, and I'm like, man, we must be really poor. I mean, why don't they want to get a job, a regular job? But then I was able to really witness those kids where they said, why do your mom or your granddad, they always come and they're able to be with you, and they come to your programs, and they began to tell me about the wealthy things in life that a lot of people put tangible value upon. And I began to see, like, man, you're right, my mother is right there when I get home. And seeing that we didn't lack for anything at all, seeing that my granddad was able to own an entire block in Milwaukee, and including a whole entire laundromat, many apartment buildings, as well as real estate. Him being a pastor, my grandmother in the South, right? They were able to, she did so much gardening, but she also had the largest rummage sales in Blytheville, Arkansas. So my mindset was being developed and established at that time. So even though you may not have a family that has come from an entrepreneurial background, that's why you look for families to be able to show you what that is, so that you can build that entrepreneurial mindset up. So that's when I began to seek out Girl Scouts. I began to seek out, different organizations that looked like I look, meaning that they were looking for something greater, and couldn't no teacher. And I asked my mom, I'm like, can I go to this school for high school that they talk about entrepreneurship, right? And because I'm like, you can't get in front of me talking about entrepreneurship and you've never ran a business. And so I knew right then and there, through the establishment of wanting to be around those individuals that fed my soul and spirit. I didn't know at that time that I couldn't work for anyone for too long, because when I got into their companies, I did. I ran it like it was mine. I looked out for them like it was mine. I was so passionate about it, right? And so I knew I couldn't just be a regular, ordinary employee, because I wasn't there just to collect a check. So I said, you know what? No, I know I have to go into entrepreneurship, and the discipline level, right? I was able to be my own alarm clock. I was able to make sure that the individuals that I worked with, that they felt like they was something greater than a number. And I was able to stand alone if in front of people and behind the people, to be able to know that, guess what? If you part of our team, part of what it is that we do, there's nothing you're going to be able to say to me too much that's going to be able to deter me from saying, this is our team. We work together, and we are not going to stop until we all get what it is that we're here for. So that's when you talk about that entrepreneurial mindset, and when I knew that it was something greater than what employment had ever shown me. Yes. I know that I can write my own check. When I found that out, and I figured that out as a young girl, and when somebody told me, oh, well, $20 an hour, that's good money for you, and I'm sitting up here seeing that this company, because I was the mail lady or the executive assistant for some major executives in an insurance company. I seen how much they made from their clients coming in, and I did the math of how many hours that they worked. When you're able to make thousands of dollars per hour, that right there will change your mindset. So when you begin to think about that, when you think about the individuals that are making $1 million a year and they only pay $60 in overhead a month for their business, you begin to think totally different. So I was able to see the value rather than the price. I was able to see the cost rather than the price. But there's always a price that you're going to pay. It's just up to you of how it is that you're going to choose to pay it.
I love it. Yes. Ooh, that was good.
Wow. So go ahead, Carmen, because yes, indeed, Christina, thank you so much for your patience. And Barbara, I pray that we were able to answer your question. Go ahead, Coach Carmen.
Okay, I see that we have Anita McGee. She said there are so many takeaways being spoken here. I would like to quickly say something before I have to get off. Anita McGee. It looks like her coloring is different than everybody else's. I don't know if I'm the only person that got it, or I don't know who it is.
You're on mute, Coach.
Talking. I'm sorry, I'm just talking. Okay, thank you, Denise. And but I wanted to make sure that we do get Christina's question answered. But so Christina, if you don't mind, because Anita said she has to go, let us know. But I need to figure out how we're going to. Oh, okay, I think I know how we can unmute her. But you let us know if that's going to be okay, Christina. Because if not, remember, it is okay because you did put your question out there first.
Yes.
Okay, let's double check. Can you see it, Carmen, her answer? Because I'm trying to look at the attendees.
She says she can wait, no problem at all.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, sister.
Thanks,
And so,
Christina.
yes, indeed. Okay, so Anita, we're getting ready to bring you up, and we're going to also unmute you. Let's see. Mind you, we're trying to. I hope that it'll allow. There you go. And you are unmuted. So Anita, there you go. There you go, Anita. Hello. Hi.
Can you all hear?
Yes. Oh, we did.
Oh, we were able to, Anita. Oh, here you go. If you unmute yourself, please. Let me see, add to spotlight. Here you go. Okay, so we're spotlighting you now. Okay,
Listen,
there you go.
listen. I have this. This is. I can you hear me?
Yeah, we sure can. We sure can.
Okay. I'm at my doctor's appointment, and I asked my doctor, "Can you just please excuse me and give me a few minutes because
Wow.
the nerve." But I just heard about this because I got a invite from Carmen. Hey, Miss Carmen. And so basically, I just wanted to say that this has been an experience, but I wasn't able to hone in on everything because I'm driving, I'm getting ready, and so I had to get here. But I had you guys on, and I could catch little nuggets. But I wanted to ask, will there be a replay? And before you answer that, I caught someone said some people will go with you and others won't, and that's huge. I had my doctor's back. That's very huge. I'm getting off now. There he is, guys. um, and then self-employment versus entrepreneurship. I didn't know that there. I really didn't know that there was a difference. I'm thinking self-employed is entrepreneurship, but there's so much still for me to learn, and I would love to be able to come on again to hear more from the beginning to the end of how this all starts and how it can play an effective role in my life because I know it's something here for me. I wouldn't have never made it if it wasn't.
That's right. That's right. Well, please message me because there will be a replay. And thank you so much for joining us. But let's connect so we can talk more.
Thank you so much. Everyone
Okay.
take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're certainly welcome.
Let me see. I'm not hearing
I don't know. I'm
anything.
sorry. Can you
Okay.
guys hear
Okay.
me now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So, all righty, wonderful. And so yes, indeed. And that's what it's about, right? All we're doing is you see all of these individuals here. We have the master educator, right? But the universe, we are educating the universe with what it
Yes.
is that we are learning. And we're doing it through what it is that we know. We live this. And that's what I love about what it is that our journey is because we don't have to play any other role. And when we say we're making a living while living, we are. This journey is our own, and we're just educating and inviting people into our world on our journey. And so I want to go ahead and Carmen, turn it over to you because our sister Christina, she has asked a question and we want to get it answered.
Yes, yes. Christina asked the question, everybody, is how do you balance family and business? My response to that is so different as a 61-year-old seasoned entrepreneur than when I was a 30-year-old entrepreneur. I'm a firm believer in things got to be in order. Regardless, you got to be able to have your faith, your God, your whatever lets you know that it's that there's trees, there's water, you didn't put it there. Whatever you subscribe to, that you got to have that in the forefront. Okay. The second thing is that you have to put your family second. What does that mean, Christina? If to me at this age, when I hear people talk about balance, that balance equal broke. That if I am trying to build something so that my children can have a better life than me, I don't care nothing about balance. Balance means that I have dinner at a certain time. That means I can see my grandkids at a certain time. But that balance, it goes out the window. When you have young children, you got to set up systems that can make sure that they're well taken care of. But there is no way that balance for me at this age, and I know that it is imperative that I collapse the time frame. I don't care anything about balance. I get up, I make sure I keep my God first. I check in with my family. We got a family chat. I check in with my mother, but I don't care how long it takes me to do what I need to do. I got to do it because it's not just about me anymore. I got people depending on me. So I would say the best way you can balance is get still, get your journal, and how is it that you want to live? What are you willing to sacrifice? I'm willing to sacrifice a whole lot more at this age of my life than when I was raising young children. Like I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that feel like you want to just put your kids on people. You want to put business first, but I am a firm believer in keeping first things first. And the more out of balance you feel, the more you're going to oftentimes be able to provide for your family. So that's why I just really wanted to share with that. So to me at this stage, balance usually equals broke. When I'm trying to balance everything in and I'm not nurturing my business, that means I'm just going to be sitting and I'm not going to have the flexibility, because flexibility costs. Before we become financially free, we got to be financially flexible. And if we do not have the income to meet our basic needs, to take care of the people that we love, then the last thing that needs to be coming out of our mouth is balance. When I hear people talk about their young children, no, what you need to do is expand your network. Who is it in your life that you can get some support for so that you can pursue your dreams? I had tons of support people. People was lined up to watch my children so that I could pursue that business. But you got to, your situation, but you got to take time to say, what does balance mean to me? Balance to me means being able to go to Jamaica when I want to and not worry about how I'm going to be able to afford it and go with my friends and family. That's what balance means to me. What do I have to do to be able to do that? But it's very different if you have young children, you got other commitments. So that's what I want to really be able to respond, Christina. Like, you got so much talent. You have so much going for you. If there's anything I could wish upon you, is to get still in that beautiful San Diego and let your dreams go wild. You are beyond talented and you have all of the gifts. You are a study of this industry and there is absolutely nothing that you can't achieve, and you can define your own example of balance.
Yes, that's it right there. Carmen, that's it. Christina, I hope you wrote down, define your own definition of balance. I'm a firm believer there is no
there's no such thing as balance. It's priorities. What if you listen to Carmen, you heard her say what was a priority for her now, right? You make that definition. And I remember back in my 30s when I began the self-employed slash entrepreneur journey, everybody told, oh, you work too much, you do this too much, you do that too much. But guess what? I knew that I had a picture of where I was trying to take my kids. I said, if you let me do this, I'm going to take us to a whole nother level. Mommy's going to be able to say a lot more yeses than no's. Yes, we can go out of the country. Yes, we can go to the mall. Yes, I can come to your school. Those things that were important to me. But I knew, and Carmen, you said it so wonderful. You said financially, I needed to be financially flexible, and I needed to have financial freedom in order to create time freedom, to create, quote unquote, this balance everybody was talking about. That's what I was saying earlier when we first got on. We got to be careful about these words and the connotations that come with them, right? People put all kind of stuff on you by saying certain things to you, like, oh, Christina, you work too much, or you got to find a balance. What? No, that's their limitations. Be very, very clear. Balance just does not exist as far as I'm concerned. I feel like it's your priorities, but again, it's an inside job. You have to be courageous enough to define your life and what things mean to you, irregardless of what other people would say, or like we say in church, or what the world would say. Right? You have to be courageous. That's the part I want to just really hone in on, Christina. It's going to feel a little bit scary when you're making these adjustments, but you have to have the courage. And that courage comes from knowing. And I'm going to say, just like we told Barbara, plugging in, being attached to the right people, having the right messages, making sure that you turn off the negative, creating your whole world. Somebody told me the other day, they're like, you look at everything like it's so positive. I said, I do. I choose to. I have a choice. Why would I be all of this craziness? I can't change it. But I'm absolutely going to participate on the positive side of it, right? Because in my 50-year-old journey, right, this high 50s that I'm in, I'm not playing in this other stuff. I'm only doing things that benefit me and help me go to the next level, right? And my goal is to have that time freedom. Why? So that I can spend amazing time with my kids, with my grandkids and my kids, and have those priorities so very clear that the balance, people will look at me and be like, wow, she's in such balance. Absolutely. I made a decision to be present. And think about that too, Christina. Even if you say when you're planning out in the business that you become a part of, we've been taught that we can design our life. That is real. That is real. You can design your life. And Christina, when you sit down and you say, I'm going to have time with my children, be present and present, if that makes sense. Be in that space. So when you have that time with them, they know that nobody else and nothing else in the universe matters, right? And then you go, when that's done, then you go and you be present in your business, taking care of business to give them that life that they so deserve, and give yourself the life that you deserve. So that's what I have to say about balance. Wow. Go ahead, Denise.
Christina, the way I balance mine is I'm gonna go take a trip. Shoot, that's it. I'm gonna go take a trip. That's what I'm gonna do. Work-life balance. I'm gonna work my business, and then I'm gonna be a product of my product, right?
Denise, wait a minute. Something else. What you gonna have every single morning?
Breakfast, hot breakfast. Come on. Hot breakfast every morning. Hot breakfast. Listen, I ain't gonna lie, I'm having a hard time right now because it's lunchtime and I'm fixing shrimp and grits for lunch. Like, I'm ready to eat. My stomach is, I said, as soon as we finish, I'm going to fix lunch, right? So Christina, here's the thing. You have such a demanding job, just like, many of us have had at one point. As a principal, I could not eat hot breakfast every day. I'd eat hot Chick-fil-A breakfast on the way to work every day. I'm still have it, but it wasn't what I really wanted, right? For lunch, I'm having somebody order a pizza while I'm having a conference with somebody, right? For dinner, I'm too tired to cook. I'm gonna just pick up something. That's not living either. And what people will do, Christina, and I'm a testament of it. The directors know, we just had a whole like faith-based family conversation not too long ago in our group about how sometimes your family is okay with you working like a dog as long as it's for a job. But once you get treated like one and you put in that same work ethic for your own business, they think you crazy. So like, like you want me to work like a dog on the job, or you want me to go hard and grind? See, they think like that grind is a bad word. I'm grinding. I get up. Y'all, I don't need an alarm clock. Thank you, Lord. I get up every morning, and I even get up earlier now than I did when I had to work at the school. But I get up. I'm up. I'm sending messages. I'm doing this. And my husband has a full-time job and plays for several churches in the city. Guess what? He's the musician. I'm not. So I don't have to be at every service with him, right? So when he's at work, I am too. My work is just at the house. So now I'm at home, my home office. That bed looks real good a lot of days. It looks real good. We're very welcoming, very warm. But I also know if I go lay in it, something is not being made over here. While he's at work making money, I'm at home generating income, right? And oftentimes when the husbands ask us, well, how much are you really making? I don't even have to tell mine. I say, you see that Acura that I still drive? I got to pay that car note every month. If anything happens to us, the life insurance is still paid up. Who pays that? There are certain bills that we're responsible for. And the way I know that it's balanced right, Christina, is that when I got let go from that six-figure income, yes, my husband stepped in and picked up some things just because it was so shocking. But it wasn't long after that I was able to say, I got it now. I'm still bringing in enough in my business ventures that can still take care of what I said I was going to take care of. So really, when I feel like I'm getting exhausted, I'm going to book a cruise. I'm going to get on the plane. I'm going to sleep in a hotel room and move my body like a snow angel. I'm going to just have my legs and arms going. That's balance, Christina. So everything ain't the same way for everybody. Create your own balance. And the cruise life is all I need. Give me a cruise, give me a trip, give me a confirmation number and a commission check, and it's all good. I'm gonna come back reset.
Oh my goodness, that is it. Oh my goodness, every single one of those takeaways. But you see, it is all about knowing you, right? And that's the great thing about it. A lot of people, they can't fathom the fact that you could design your life. I'm just a willing testament that is true. It is true. And so I am so thankful. And so now I know that we have another question coming through, but I know this is the time for our connecting time. And so we're going to have 30 minutes of connecting, but we can break it down to about 15 minutes and we can continue to connect in C-suite. But I want to make sure that that it's okay with everyone in reference to if we do that, because I know that Jacqueline, she does have a question and we want to make sure that we get that, and that'll be our final question. But also, to anybody opposed to that, because this should be the time for us to all to connect. And so it's a very intimate group, so we should be able to connect pretty well and be able to really be able to meet one another, really be able to chat it up. So does anyone oppose to us taking the speakers taking on this final question?
I'm okay.
Okay. All righty. So everybody, you're good. Okay, we're getting ready to take on this next question that we have coming from an amazing entrepreneur that I've known for many, many years. And let's see, let me get to it. Have any of you ever failed in your entrepreneurial pursuits? What helped you recover, build bigger, or build better? That's from Jacqueline.
Ooh. Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Let Denise go, then I'll go after Denise.
Okay. Go ahead.
Before I was in the project that we're in now, I had gone full-time entrepreneur in educational consulting, Jocelyn. And I wouldn't say I failed in it. I just felt like At the time, I was about to get married, and we all know that those of us who've been married know that money can be an issue if it's not right, right? And like that's one of the number one reasons people's marriages fail. And so I didn't want to challenge that. So I went back and got a job where I knew I could bring in a six-figure income, right? But I would say in this project, I do feel like, did I fail in the beginning? Because I didn't really understand how to build and what I was really looking for. Um, Now I feel like I know better, so I'm gonna build better. And I look at that as the learning ground, not like my boy John Maxwell says in one of his books. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. It never sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And so I just learned what not to do, who not to look for. Um, and then when I think about like, oh, do I want to go back to a job? It's easy to go back to a job, but I wouldn't be happy, and that's what would make it harder for me. And so that would feel like I'm failing if I'm doing something that I'm not. And don't get me wrong, y'all, because I know that if it comes down to it and I have to go back just to take care of some things, I'll do it, and we do what we have to do. But I guarantee when you go back into it, you're going to think about how to come back out of it a much different way, so you don't have to. And don't get me wrong, like I'm an instructor for UW Green Bay doing some CBRF classes. I told somebody, asked me, would you take a principal job if it was this, that, and the third? And I'm just like, y'all, I might consider going to lift before I go do that again. Like, that's how badly I don't want to be confined. I like the freedom. Like, every time I think of freedom, I just want to do like this, because I like the fact that, like, I'm never bored. When people say you're in your house all day, I love my house. I love it. I love everything about my space in here. And I don't ever feel like I want to go back into a building. I feel like that would traumatize me more than anything. So in order to not be traumatized, I want to work as hard as I got to work and supplement other ways and go teach some classes. I even said to the Lord, look, now this is what I want to do. I want to teach some classes at the collegiate level online. That's what I want to do. If I got to go in, I'll go in about 2-3 days a week, 1 hour, 2 hours, but I want my freedom back at the house to finish working my business. So it's all, bottom line, it's a mindset. And when you want something bad enough, you're going to work for it so that you don't have to go back to a place you don't really want to be.
Jocelyn, that's a great question, and Denise, that was such good insight.
Yes.
And what I took from what Denise said, and I'm gonna just build on that, is mindset. Everything is mindset, and I'm just so big about words, like the word failed. No, as long as you are breathing, there's no failure. There's just learning. Yeah. Right? We don't fail, and then we get up. That was something Steve Harvey said this morning. He was saying, you get up. As long as you keep getting up and keep learning, then you're going to keep growing. And I was listening to Denise when she talked about the principalship, because a lot of people would want you to go back into your comfort zone, right? Mm-hmm. And I got so tickled because I said, wow, that ship has absolutely sailed. But guess what? She had to have courage to say that out loud. You know how many people are coming to her telling her, what, you mean you wouldn't be a principal? And they laid out the perfect principal scenario. And she had to have the courage inside of herself to really know where she is in her place right now, in her life, in her work, to say, no, that's no longer for me. And so, Jocelyn, that's the same thing for you. Your entrepreneurial journey, whatever you were doing, it was a passion of yours. It was something that was important that you pull time into. So now you simply just look at it and pivot. You take the lessons that you've learned. You look deep inside and decide, is that what I really want? Why did I start this? What was my end goal? What was my why? That why is going to help you redefine your plan to go and do it again, bigger and better, because you've seen the pitfalls, you've learned some things, Now it's time for you to go out and restructure that and go back after your dreams. Stay going after your dreams. So I'm going to encourage you to revisit your why and be courageous in whatever your decision is. That's what I have.
Wow, and I can definitely say that I was taught very early on that I always use the statement of stop pressing the snooze buttons on your dreams. When my granddad had asked us a question at a very young age, and he asked us where was the wealthiest place in the world, and we're trying to think of all these places we couldn't even pronounce. And when he told us that the wealthiest place was the graveyard, and he said, do you understand the only way that you fail is if you do not answer the call and the purpose on your life? That's the failure. And usually what keeps us from pursuing that is fear and procrastination. And so as you look at that, and that's how I've been able to go challenge after challenge after challenge, because I know that I am pursuing my dreams.
That's good. That's good.
You got anything, Carmen, as we go into our connection session?
You guys really nailed it. The only thing that I wanted to just add to that is making sure you're in environments where people don't see you as a failure. Because if you're in certain environments and you've had a hard time, you can be in an atmosphere where people want to keep bringing that up. And so that fear kind of perpetuates itself. But I'm very selective of the people that I share failures with now, because I understand because of who I surrounded myself is just a stepping stone in the journey. So Jacqueline, my thing is just keep being intentional about who are you surrounding yourself with, and make sure it's people that don't see your circumstances as a failure.
Wow, Carmen. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. You are so right. Man.
Company you keep.
Yes.
Company you keep.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, and so everyone, now the time has come for us to connect. And so when we're talking about connecting, we want to be able to know who you are, right? What is your journey when it comes down to sisterhood, or some of your experiences that you've been able to really not just sit and dwell in it, but you've been able to excel in that, right? And then also, what are some dreams or something that you see that you want to take place in your life? And you have these sisters on here, right? This is a sisterhood. I want you to really take a look at that, right? And to really embrace that as you're getting ready to enter on this next level of being able to really understand that. And so let's go ahead, and who's ready to raise their hand and begin to share with us who you are? If everybody could take about 30 seconds each and just share that with us to get to know one another. And so let's see if you could put inside of chat, that way I'll know exactly who to go to. Me, look at there, come on now. Yes. Oh, and then also Jocelyn said, be intentional about people you surround yourself with. Powerful, Coach Carmen. Yes, indeed. And so, okay, we're getting ready to get on over there and get you and bring you on up. Let's see, Coach Barbara, let's get you going. And here we go. All righty, there we go. Hello, great afternoon.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh my God, you guys have me so emotional. I'm an emotional person. Let's just be honest, okay? But I'm just so very, very grateful to be on here and hear this, because actually I had sent a private message and I was explaining that I come from a family that if there were anybody who were entrepreneurs in my family, I don't know them, right? So I grew up around poor people with poor mentalities, people who didn't have a drive, right? But I remember as a little girl, I remember having an entrepreneur mindset. And even I remember very strongly when I was in 6th grade, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be either an actress or I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to do something that was going to be meaningful to me and also meaningful to people, right? I always knew I had a knack to help people. And so I wanted to do something, but as the trauma continued, I lost that. I lost that passion. I lost that desire. And I just allowed myself to sit in what was for the moment. But as I began to have children, my mindset changed because I no longer wanted my children to grow up in that type of environment and think that it was okay. And so I drove myself harder to be able to do something more than what I did when I didn't have kids, right? And so I began to surround myself around people who had the knowledge, had the understanding, had the background, were doing it, right? And then I began to steal the stuff. Lord, forgive me. I just began to steal stuff. I began to steal how they were speaking. I began to steal how they poised themselves because I grew up around a bunch of boys. And so a lot played a role into me not being confident with who I am to be able to speak and speak with clarity and speak with knowledge and understanding, right? And so me being able to go out of that and just begin to grow just from setting myself around the right people and then being able to be encourage myself. I didn't have anybody to encourage me. I encouraged myself to be able to step out of the cold side of life into the warm side of life. And how I did that was I began to read and I began to watch videos and I began to do what I needed to do to put my foot in the right places and be around the right people that lead me in the right places. And then it began, right? It was first my mentor who mentored me after I got my second master's, because that was the growth period, is getting educated, right? And then once I got educated, then God placed people in my life, and it was my pastor's wife, and then my mentor for counseling, and then you guys. So I'm just so very grateful for all that I'm getting, and just know, as Director Dion said, you got to give back. I'm giving back, y'all. Y'all just keep watching me.
Wow, I just had the opportunity to read your comment. You are so powerful and amazing, and everyone lives that you touch is truly going to be, it's going to be an amazing impact. Mm-hmm. And so let's go and I want to double check and see if we have anyone else that would like to come on up. And let's see, me. Okay, no one else. Is everyone else shy? We need for you guys to come on up. We want to meet you and see who you are. Okay, let's break it on down then. How about you just come on up and you tell us what your name and what is, are you an entrepreneur? What is it you do? There we go, LaShawn. Let's go. We're getting ready to go ahead and bring up LaShawn Treadwell. Let's go ahead and let me get to you right quick. I don't see you oh, there you go. There you go. All righty, LaShawn, you're coming on up, dear. And the stage is going to be yours in just a couple of minutes. Let's see. Here we go. All righty, you're here. Yes, good afternoon. Hello. Yes, indeed. Go ahead, LaShawn.
Well, I'm LaShawn Treadwell, and I just want to say that I have been so inspired about everything you ladies have said. Y'all almost had me in tears over here. Just going over the different, how to be assertive in the business. I am an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 15 years and doing weddings and events. Very new to the marketing business and trying to get into learning it, mastering it. And as you all say, in order to do that, you have to show up. You have to stay plugged in. And that's what I'm trying to learn from you ladies, seeing how you balance everything in this business, and just being able to listen and to get the understanding that I need. I always put God first. in everything that I do. I pray about things. But my struggle and my question for you, Dr. Shontina, earlier was, how do you balance health issues? Because my husband tells me I don't know how to balance my health issues with doing the business. He says I'm either doing too much and I don't want to know when to stop until I'm knocked down. And I get tired of people telling me, well, you're supposed to be sick. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're doing too much. And I hear this all the time in my head, where sometimes at one time I was thinking that, okay, maybe I'm just supposed to just let my illness take over my life. But I want to keep striving to do, because I want to leave a legacy behind for my children. And that's been the hardest thing for me. People look at
Wow.
me and say, you're not sick. You don't look sick, but you don't know my story. You don't know what I go through.
My,
So,
my. Wow. Well, guess what? I am so thankful. I was almost in tears to see you show up. Like you were saying, you showed up at the event last week, and I do know your story. And we've created a platform. I've always had platforms for people to share their stories, and we are reigniting that. And I've told you that you will be on that schedule, because I believe that it's important for people to know that life is what you have, but lifestyle is how you choose to live it. And I know that God has brought you here to this point because we really, really, we really look at that from that lens. And so as we begin to launch Making a Living While Living, it is that story to tell people I could have lied down, and as I look back, I could have settled for the status quo. But what pulled me, because there are certain things that push you, but what pulled me is the individuals that I was surrounded by. These three women that is on this line right here. When I tell you, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, we was right there for each other, and that ignited everyone else and all the other communities that I had. And you're right, your family and friends, they just only love you. I can't take that away from them, that they will tell you. They used to tell me, Mom, you need to get somewhere and sit down. You need to, but
mhm.
just not knowing your inner person, and your dark desires in your heart for what it is that you know that you're running after. That is going to be what's going to make sure, because people don't understand, there's healing in you running after your dreams. There's healing in you being able to share your story and your process. And so I'm looking forward to being able to work with you, and to be able to make sure that you do know about that whole balance. Because people, when they tell you there is no balance, yes, there is. You're in control of that. And that's called order. That is called you
Yes.
getting that schedule together, letting everybody around you know. When my team, I was on certain presentations, I would tell them ahead of time, if my screen is off, I'm sorry, I won't be able to come up, because only you know what you're going through. Because some things we go through in those instances of the illnesses we've had and have, we don't even want to discuss it with our loved ones. They don't even know what we're going through behind closed doors. I know what you're going through. And so definitely, I'm looking forward to us really getting you to that next level, because you got it within you. And I'll be able to walk that journey with you.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
all.
welcome. You're so welcome. And so, wow. So today, everyone has been so awesome and amazing. Let me go ahead and make sure we get this back. And I know that this is truly going to be just a stepping stone for many as everyone begin to watch this, because we will be on YouTube World, sharing it all over. Just remember, these women right here, we are here, and we are making sure that as we're making a living while living and what it is that we do, we're not stepping over one another to be able to get there. We're making sure that we are communicating. Communication is the best key, the only key that is going to unlock that door to sisterhood. And when I tell you, it's so rich. And if you go ahead and you make those learning lessons, you speak to one another, even those hard conversations, but also don't be beyond apologizing. Never be beyond being able to know what is it that what's going on, sister. Something else is going on. It is so very important, and your business life will soar. And if you're looking for a community of women that does that, we live that. just know that we're here for you every step of the way. And so I want to make sure that our speakers are able to close us out with your, oh, if you can just say goodbye, because as we know, duty calls, she's going to another sisterhood. And so just share, just share your name, how people can reach you, and then also just whatever you want to leave us with, okay?
Okay. My name is Dion Barnes, and you can reach me on Facebook at Dion Barnes on Facebook, or everybody in the world knows my phone number. You can call me 414-467-8003. Have the same number forever. But you know what, guys? Don't stop the conversations here. You have some really, really insightful questions, and it just sounds like there's more conversation that needs to happen. And search out sisterhood, search out people that you really, really can connect with. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of people. It's quality over quantity.
Yes.
Right? I have an amazing circle, but it's not a million strong. Right? So really, really look at that and continue the conversations, though. Please continue the conversations. And I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you on here at some way, some point in the journey. Okay. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. You're welcome. All righty. And then I think Coach Denise raised her hand. You ready to go on? And yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. If you would love to continue the conversation, keep chatting, have some questions answered, I can be reached on Facebook. Everybody knows that, because just go on Facebook, scroll. There's 1,000 things posted all the time because I'm excited about what I'm doing. But you can also give me a call at area code 314-922-9577. I look forward to just continuing to grow our sisterhood and our network here and beyond. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, you're welcome.
That's so awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Carmen C. Ray. That's C like in cat on Facebook, because y'all know the folks be hijacking our profiles. But if you see Carmen C. Ray, then that is me. And I really want to make sure we're taking this online conversation offline. So please go to my website, Be Well Magazines with an S.com. Join my email list and feel free. You'll see a button there to say schedule a time to chat. You can fill it out and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you all so very much. It has been an amazing, amazing afternoon spending that time with you. Reach out to that sister that you know that you both can make an amazing, amazing hood with, right? As you change the world. And I am so very thankful to have you as a part of this here community. And whether you've met us inside of the C-suite, you could definitely find all of us in C-suite right on Facebook. But have a great, fantastic, and amazing, amazing afternoon, everyone. Take care, take charge, and remember to stop pressing the snooze buttons on your dreams. You owe it to yourself. Take care.